So welcome everybody to my first podcast. We're going to call this Footnotes with Justin Garland. I kind of thought that would be a little catchy title. Doing our filming today is Mr. Eduardo Jimenez, a.k.a. Eddie, a.k.a. my friend. Anyhow, this has been a long time coming. I've always wanted to do, well, I don't want to say always, but I've wanted to do a podcast for quite some time now. And I've had the chance to do a few podcasts with Brad Critchfield. Brad Critchfield hosts his own, and I've been a guest on his show a couple of times, which has been pretty cool. We're gonna do ours now, and I'm pretty excited about it. So why did you click on today's podcast? I don't think you clicked on today's podcast by accident or coincidence. I think there's a lot of things that we can talk about here and just shed some light on. I'm not going to say that my views are the law or the rule, but if you guys have, if this podcast does a great job, like I believe it will, it's going to help impact your life and make you that much better. So anyhow, where I come from, I think most people can say in their life that they've had rough upbringings. Maybe you can relate to some of the stuff that I've gone through. Maybe you can't, and that's okay. But I still think and believe that the content will help and help shape and mold you guys. But yeah, like I said, I've had a rough go at some stuff, and through some of the challenges and the things that I've gone through, I've been able to strengthen me and help me see things in a different view. I need to stop saying so much. But thank you guys for joining in tonight. Thank you guys for clicking. Just want to go ahead and give a shout out to everybody who's watching in live tonight. I appreciate it. And we're going to be talking about some pretty cool stuff. Anyways, so earlier today, I was having a conversation with one of my clients, and we were talking about prayer. And when we were talking about it, one of the things that he said that I don't believe that anybody should just be sitting around praying for things, hoping for things to happen. He said, I believe that God is somebody who will kind of help those who, help themselves along, right? So, and when he was saying that, it struck me because it's something I really do. I don't want to say it struck me. It resonated with me because it's something I believe 100%. And I was telling him, what I had said to him was, I said, I think that we've kind of developed a culture and a generation of people who have done a great job at, reading books like The Secret, or learning things like the law of attraction, or speaking things into existence, which I believe in those types of things. I believe in being able to affirm stuff and, speak things into existence and speak things over yourself by faith. But I believe that there's a part of the generation that believes they can sit back and just speak these things and not have to put any effort in, and then things just happen. Well, unfortunately, it's not true. So what I wanted to talk to us about tonight, or what I wanted to talk about tonight, was the law of sowing and reaping, or planting seed time and harvest time, or putting in work, however you want to call it. One of the examples I give, you can't sit at home. You can't sit at home hoping to lose weight and then say, man, I want to lose 20 pounds. And then you don't go to the gym, or you don't exercise, and then you continue eating the way that you eat. A lot of times people have those types of misconceptions, or I'm going to sit back and pray for $1 million or for my company to grow, but then when I go to work, I don't do any of the things necessary to help it grow. We have to put in the work. So I can go ahead and start by saying this. Even the Bible says it in Genesis that the seed time and harvest time will never cease. So if I understand that principle, then I can understand that any time that I sow a seed or any time that I plant a seed, I should expect some sort of harvest as long as I'm cultivating that. I have to take time to water it. I have to take time to work the ground. And in any area of my life is going to be the same thing. I'm going to get out, what I put in, and there's that old saying that says, well, you reap what you sow. Well, you gonna reap what you sow. And I think a lot of times it's used in a negative connotation, which is true too. If I sow hate, or if I'm malicious, or if I'm manipulative, well, I best believe that if those are the things that I'm doing to other people, then I should expect nothing but that and more in return. But on the flip side too, the more that I sow love, or that I love people unconditionally, or the more that I help people, the more that I work with people to help them get what they want to achieve in life, I should expect that in return. And it might not necessarily come from that person or that side. It might come from somewhere else. So I do believe in these principles, and I think it's something that it's just a retraining of the mind, or a retraining of your thought process, that I think would be good for people to do, is just to remember that I'm going to get out what I put in. There's no amount of sitting around and just waiting for something to happen that's going to make things happen. I do have to continually work in every area of my life. So some of the things that I can work at, and I've told people this, I've told my wife this just recently, and there's a couple of other close friends of mine, I'm willing to sacrifice who I am for the person I want to become. So if I look at somebody like, let's say myself, who I want to be in a year from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, and I say, okay, well, that person a year from now needs to be, making $100,000 a year, or needs to love his wife better, or needs to be a better father, or needs to be a better employee, or a better business owner. If I look at that and say, okay, those are the things I need to be, then I micromanage that and find out, well, if those are the things I need to be, what characteristics do I need to have in order to be those things? And maybe I emulate somebody else. Maybe I look at like friends close to me that are being a lot more successful in those areas, and I start to take mental notes or even physical notes and say, okay, well, this guy, really values his time a lot more, and he's a lot more punctual than I am. And that's a good aspect, or that's a good trait to have, somebody who's being punctual. And because he's punctual, I can see that translate over into his business life, and his business is booming. Okay, well, I want to be a better person, I want to be better at being on time. So what do? Then I have to I have to start to shape and mold my life in a way that I can be on time. Or let's say if maybe I want to be a better husband, and maybe you're not as forthcoming as you could be with your wife. You don't tell your wife everything, but you want to be a better husband, and there's trust issues in the relationship. Well, the only way that I'm going to be a better husband and have a better marriage is by making sure that one area is fixed or corrected. And I have to have that real conversation with myself, and being able to look at the man in the mirror and say, well, this is an area of your life, Justin, that you want fixed, or that you want better. And this is the area that you're really messing up in. And you have to have that real adult conversation with yourself in order to get better. And then you say, okay, so now every opportunity that I have to tell the truth or to gain trust and my wife's respect, I'm going to take that. And then every single day I'm working to get better at it. And at the end of the year, I'll be a better husband. Your wife will be better for it. She'll respect you and love you more for it. But if I just sit back and say, well, I want to be a better husband, but then I don't do any of the footwork to get better, I'll never be a better husband. I'll always be that one person who says, I want this and I want that. And I'll never, ever live that fulfilled life, because I'm never going to have it. So, and vice versa. If I want to be a better wife, I want to respect my husband more, or I really hate the fact that my husband dreads coming home. What am I doing that makes him not want to come home? And then if you can self-evaluate and be honest and truthful with yourself, and you can start doing the things that help you be a better wife, I guarantee you he'll want to come home. If I want to be a better dad, if I'm not spending enough time with my kids don't like me, or my kids don't respect me, what am I doing to be a better father? So I have to have those real conversations with myself in order to be successful in those areas. So, and that all goes back to sowing and reaping, and the understanding that it is a spiritual principle that will never go away, and it will give me more than what I put in. So if I could ask anybody a question, it would be, how many seeds does it take to plant an apple tree? And then after I plant my apple tree, how many apples should I expect to get? If I planted one apple seed and it produced one tree, how many apples would I get in return? Well, I'd get a bunch, a whole lot, especially if I'm cultivating the ground, if I'm making sure that it stays watered, if I'm putting forth the effort and the work to do it. I'm going to cultivate a great harvest. And then that takes time. So I can't just expect, and this is where patience comes in. I can't just expect to plant a seed and then the next day for it to sprout a tree with a bunch of apples on it, or oranges, or whatever the case might be. I have to be able to be patient and continually work at it, where I've planted that seed, and every single day I'm cultivating it, I'm watering it, I'm pulling weeds out. Weeds are no good, right? So what would be some weeds in my own life that I can pull out? Well, those are the things that would make me not a good man, or not a great man of integrity, or a great man of good integrity, right? So I look at those types of things and I say, okay, now let's go ahead and pull this out, right? I almost feel like we should have a telephone, and we should start taking callers now. We're going to go ahead to the lines and take caller number 2. But if there are areas in your life that you want changed and fixed, you can change them. You have the power and the control to change them. You can't change anybody else. You can only change you. And this can be said as well, and I think it's true. Change is inevitable. Progress is not. So if I want something changed in my life, or I want something to progress in my life, I have to be intentional about it. And that goes back to work. So again, nothing apart from hard work will progress. So make sure that you guys are working hard every single day to do the things that you want to progress at. Don't procrastinate. If you have an idea, I heard this one time, if you have an idea and you believe that it's a good idea, then take the initial step to move forward with that idea as soon as you possibly can. The longer that I put it off, the less likely I am to complete it. Okay, so if I want to lose weight, and today's Wednesday, and this is something I used to do, so this is a great example. This is cool. So what I used to do when I was in high school, this is what I used to do. And I wanted to play football. I wanted to play professional football. So growing up, that was my goal. That was my dream. I wanted to play professional football. But in order to play professional football, it's something you have to work at. I have to work out every single day, maybe 2-3 times a day if need be. And I got to work hard, right? I got to eat right. I got to get in the gym, work out. I got to, build muscle. I got to do position-specific drills. I got to run, all that good stuff. Well, during high school, I think would have probably have been the best time to really start those types of habits, making and building strong habits in that area, especially if that's something that I really, really wanted. And I would always tell myself, I'm going to start on Monday. Because Monday was the beginning of the week. There's no better time to start than Monday, because I'll do Monday and I'll do Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I won't take no days off. And then Monday would come and I wouldn't do it. For whatever reason, I would always find some sort of stupid excuse. I'm tired, or I want to play this stupid video game, Sonic the Hedgehog or something. Or I got homework. And I would never do my homework. And then Tuesday I'll do it tomorrow. And then Tuesday would roll around, and then Tuesday would come, and I'd have some sort of stupid excuse again. And Wednesday would roll around, and I'm telling you, by Wednesday, and I think this is one of the things that a lot of people do, because Wednesday is considered the middle of the week. You put it off until the following Monday. And it was something that I would do every single week, every single year. Wednesday would roll around, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's already Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. Well, I want to work out, and I want to get faster. I want to get stronger. I might as well just wait until next Monday. Well, I ended up eating myself into being 285 pounds. I had gained from the end of my junior season about 75 pounds. I was probably 205, 210 at the end of my junior season. And all of it was fat. There was not an ounce of muscle in that 75-pound weight gain. It was ridiculous. I've got pictures to prove it. And it was because of procrastination, always putting off. I had great intention, no work ethic, no follow through. If I had just a little bit of work ethic and a little bit of follow through, I think I probably would have been way better off. Would I have made it? I don't know. But I would have had some good habits probably established at that time. And I think with a little more tweaking, once I got into college, I could have probably, but that can be said for anybody. My gosh, how many times have you done it to yourself where you sit there and you think, man, if I want to do this or I want to do that. I'll take this podcast, for example. I've been wanting to do a podcast for the last few years now, and I'd always put it off. Well, maybe now's not the time, or I'm not ready. Who's going to listen? You start to think about all these reasons for not doing it, and then you make the excuse, and they sound good to you, and they sound reasonable, and then you hold on to it, and it's not truth, and then you put it off. And so now here we are, 3 years go by, or 4 years go by, and now we're doing our first real podcast, and we're going to stay consistent at it. And what are some of the things that you want to do, though? Whether it's starting a YouTube channel, or whether it's working out, or whether it's starting your own business, or whether it's becoming a better employee where you're at. I want to be a better salesman, or any of that kind of stuff. And you continue to put it off, or you continue to not read the books to become a better person. You continue to, maybe you've been putting off going to programs like MITT or Landmark or something like that to be a better person. Or, you got seminars that come up and you're like, oh man, I want to go to that next Grant Cardone I want to go to Cardone University, or, what, Jim Rohn's going to be in town. I want to go listen to Jim Rohn. And, I really want to help with start becoming better at myself, my own self-development, and I want to read this book, or I want to read that book, or any of that kind of stuff. But you continue to put it off because you start to believe whatever excuse that you tell yourself, and it sounds good, and it sounds reasonable to you. So because it sounds reasonable to you, you end up doing it. And then I think we end up getting this vicious cycle of, I need to find validation for my reason. So then I talk to somebody else, and, I don't want to say anything bad about maybe the friends or family members that you have, but, you end up talking to somebody who might not be as ambitious as you, or doesn't have the dreams and the goals that you do. So you tell them like, oh man, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And they start telling you the reasons why you shouldn't do it, and they start backing you up on the reasonable excuses you told yourself. So all it does is just solidify your own procrastination, and you fall into that trap, and then you end up putting it off. And then you and that same person a year from now will not have changed, and you guys will be looking at each other doing the same thing. If that's you don't want that anymore, then now's the time. And it's as good as any to start doing the things that you want to do. Whether, read that book, go to that seminar, start to plant the seeds that you want in your life. Start uprooting the weeds that are in your life. Get rid of those bad characteristics and start planting the seeds you want. Plant seeds you want, and then reaffirm them, whether it's by prayer or whether it's by, speaking things out into existence. Yeah, the word says that now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So the more that I speak things into existence, the more things will happen for me when I'm putting in forth the effort. That's my faith as well. So faith is doing those things. Faith isn't just calling those things that aren't as though they are, but faith is now doing something about it, taking that step. Just like the law of attraction, I speak it out. Now what? Now what? I've spoke it out. Now what? Now put some hustle behind that muscle. Go out there and get it. And I guarantee you, the more often that you do those small tasks that you need to do, I guarantee you that doors will start to open. People will start being attracted to you that need to be attracted to you, to help you get whatever you want accomplished, to help you finish whatever you want to get finished, to help teach you. The teacher always shows up. The teacher will always show up when the student is ready to learn. So if you're willing to do something and you're willing to step out, I guarantee you that those things will show up. Those things will show up in your life that you want to show up. And then you'll start to understand, and that principle of sowing and reaping will become a lot stronger in your life, and you'll continue to push forward and do it. Again, there's nothing apart from hard work. Nothing apart from hard work. And work hard. If you think you're working hard now, work harder. If you're already working harder, work harder. If you're trying to figure out, in what area of my life can I work harder, or how can I work harder? I only have 24 hours in a day. There's plenty of people in their life that have 24 hours in a day and that are still finding the time to do the things that they want to do in life. If you're stuck at a dead-end job and you have to work that dead-end job because, man, I got to pay the bills and this is what I have right now and I can't do anything else, well, then I'm sure that you're not working anything more than 14 hours a day. You've got another 10 hours of daytime, and stop sleeping so much. Don't sleep 8 to 10 hours. Sleep 6, sleep 5. And then those other hours that you got, man, start working on the things that you want. Start working on some of your passions. And I'm telling you right now, when you start to sow that seed into your real passion, your real purpose, by the time that it starts really get to going, then you'll be able to leave whatever dead-end job that you're at, and you'll be able to run with what that God-given talent that he's given you, the purpose that he's given you, the purpose and reason why you're on this earth. Work hard. Sow what you want to reap. I think that's a good one. So don't worry about reaping what you sow. Just stay focused on sowing what you want to reap. That's pretty cool. It's a good way to look at it. I tell a lot of my students when they come to class, you're only going to get out what you put in. If you only go to the gym 2 days a week, then you should only expect to see 2 days a week of results. As Eddie pulls his shirt up and starts showing off. Yeah, we should not be showing off, Eddie. But I really hope that this touched you tonight. I hope that, and I believe that it will help sow and plant the seed in you to get rid of procrastination, to get rid of laziness. And don't be lazy. And don't forget this, laziness and tired, they got nothing to do with each other. They got nothing to do with each other. So kick that habit of being lazy. If you're too tired, go to sleep. Rest is good, but don't be lazy. Lazy is bad. Procrastination is bad. Be a better person. And I think that's the aim and goal of this podcast, is to really help empower people to become more self-efficient at being better and putting the pieces together, being able to establish what their vision is for their life, and then give us the direction to achieve it, and put things together that are tangible and manageable, things that you'll be able to see, feel, touch, taste. And I really, really do hope that you guys are inspired by what we talk about. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about, go ahead and feel free to to drop us a comment. Maybe there's specific topics or questions that you guys might have. I know Brad and I had even talked about doing like a good cop, bad cop. You know what? Whatever the case is, if you guys ever want anything questioned or if you guys ever want anything answered, go ahead and feel free to drop a question in. We'll go ahead and answer all that. Okay. I do appreciate you guys for joining in tonight. Thank you so much. This is my first podcast. I can only say that through my own work in this podcast, we'll get a lot better. Maybe it won't seem so choppy. I do hope that you guys enjoyed tonight. If there's any questions about tonight's topic, again, please comment. But please subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and drop us a like. Share it with your friends and family members. Go ahead and give us a comment and tell us how you feel. Again, this has been Footnotes with Justin Garland, and we'll see you next episode.